Hi, have you ever wondered if you should pay off a rental house early? Well, listen, I'm going to tell you my experiences with that because I paid off a rental house. All right, morning, afternoon, evening. Tom wants to get you this quick little video for you talking about how I paid off a rental house this past year, actually. I'm going to show you in detail, what I paid off. Talk to my experiences with it, how I did it, and some suggestions, you might be able to take it and do it yourself. All right. So back in I'm drawing a blank. Okay, 2005, my wife and I, we have saved a lot of money at that point. And before we moved in this area, I told her I want to buy a rental property. I probably maybe I didn't explain anything to her really clearly, but I said I want to buy the rental property because once you buy the rental property, and if you do all the repairs on it, you can take all that and write it off on your taxes for next year. And that's what I did. So we never moved into the house. And we just, spent about 2 months fixing up the place. We had the grass, rocks. It's in Arizona, so we had a lot of rocks taken care of, added more rocks, put some more rocks. I personally went down to Home Depot, bought some rocks, laid them on the ground, hired a contractor, take care of the landscaping, take care of an old cactus that was just an eyesore. We painted the inside of the house, painted the outside of the house, had the old carpet taken out, and we had tile laid down. I paid for the tile as well. And a little tip, if you use a Home Depot or Lowe's credit card, it's 0% interest as long as you pay for that, whatever time it may be. It could be 18 months, 20 or 24 months, whatever it may be. 12 months or 24 months, all different, whatever deal you kind of get. But, 0% interest. If you're doing that, if you set it up carefully, you can pay it off within those 18 months or whatever and pay nothing extra out of your pocket. You're just paying for, exactly what it costs. That's what we did. I've used that a couple times already and it works great. It's like a no money down payment and you're paying for that stuff and it's not going to cause you any extra interest. So you don't need to charge up your credit card. You don't need to rack it up anything. Just make sure you have a good Home Depot or Lowe's credit card and, they'll work with you. Another good thing, sometimes they may bump up how much you may need. You just got to talk to them, have them work it out for you, and they're going to work with you because they want your business, all right? The other thing, we went through several contractors because the first guy, I found him off of either in the local paper or Craigslist. I said, yeah, let me try it out. I didn't do my research, didn't do my due diligence. I didn't really ask many questions, and he started taking out the cactus, and he left the stump. At least it's a good foot or whatever in the yard. I told him I want the whole thing taken out. And he said, oh, it's going to cost you more. And I was like, are you serious? And so I was frustrated with that guy and I let him go and I had another guy and I had to pay him as well to take out that little stump from the cactus in the yard. And it was extra money I had to pay out of my pocket just to get, to fix up the place and rent it out. So eventually, we got the house all painted up, the tile laid on the ground, and it was looking great. And it might have sat on the market for maybe another month or two before we got it rented. No problem. It didn't take that long. We had it done, and this is probably 14 years now. We paid it all off. We paid off that rental property. First, we got a 15-year mortgage. That was number one. Interest rates were very good at that time. We got a pretty good rate. I think it was like around 4%. I don't remember exactly, and this is before we had kids as well. So we had no kids, and so everything was working out perfectly. So we paid extra on that property. Instead of paying a full extra, I actually paid an extra year on that property within that first year. So I think it was like our mortgage was maybe $1,000, give or take. I should probably do the numbers, but I'm just gonna give you an example. Okay, I'll use $1,200. Say the mortgage was $1,200. Instead of having $1,200 up front to pay for it, you just break down that $1,200 and you break it down over 12 months. So it's an extra $100 a month that we paid on our mortgage, and that worked perfectly because after that year, you've paid an extra year of that principal within that first year by just paying extra $100. You can do that with anything. You can do that with a house you own now. You can do that with any rental property, but if you can pay more, you can pay more. but do what works best for you. I was investing at the same time, so I didn't want to pull money out of my investments to pay for this property I bought. But I knew I could afford $100, so I just took $100 and started paying more into this property. Pay $100 extra dollars on the property, and so that we're cutting off that interest you're paying to that bank. Because if you can do that, it's going to work out great. You're paying that bank extra money. You're not paying that bank extra money. Okay, you want to keep that money to yourself. So that's one thing we did, and the next thing we did, we drawing a blank. Okay, yeah, and then we had, my son was born that next year. All right, so once he was born, kids cost money. All right, kids cost money, and then I got deployed at the same time. I had to go off to Iraq, so I really couldn't concentrate as much on where my money was going. I was trying to manage it as best I could. I still kept in touch with the property manager, that out in Arizona, but I was halfway around the world, so everything still worked out pretty well. And so I think the economy started going bad around that point, because I deployed in 2006 to 7, and then I had another rotation the following year after that in 2008. And so life was stressful at the time. The Iraq War was going crazy. My job was going crazy. We were standing up, the unit I was in was standing up a new organization. So we're working up everything from scratch, getting new people coming in, seeing what they knew, what they didn't know. And plus I had to train them to deploy. So it was crazy. And so I think I probably lost maybe a little track on what's going on with the rental property, because we didn't know what was going on. But then eventually everything worked out well. I think we had a hard time keeping a good tenant in there. And so, our pay was, fluctuating because of that. My wife is getting out at the same time. She got out of the military. And so, then as another stressor right there. But everything still worked out. We didn't sell this house. We kept it through good times and the bad times. We had some bad times about 2-3 years after the market crashed, because the economy there in Arizona was starting to go bad. It was hard to find Border Patrol agents. They didn't know what their features were going to look like. So they were, a little worried. And so we could never really get a good tenant in there. And then we did have a couple tenants that lived in there, but they were bad tenants. All right, they were bad tenants. So that's one of my experiences working with bad tenants at this property. But since then, everything's been going well. Sometimes you got to have these bad times, and you've got to have the finances to support your rental property. Because if you don't have that money set aside, if you don't have separate money set aside for that property, you're going to be digging out of your own money, which you really don't want to do. So the best thing is to keep a separate account, like I did here. This is a separate account, not tied to anything else. I have a debit card, but I don't use it for anything else. This is only thing is all the money that comes in is for this house. Nothing else. You don't want to tie it in with your own personal funds. All right. You want to keep it separate, have it separate. If you can get a business account, this is a business account. So keep it all separate. All right. That's what you got to do. But the best thing is, I'm getting money from this rental property every month. Every month I'm getting money out of this house. So I'm getting $674 a month out of this property, right to my pocket. It's really to the bank's pocket. It really was my money, my money, and it's just not really going anywhere. It's just right now it's sitting up there because I want to build up a nice cushion there, because I want to fix up the kitchen there. And so I would like to pay for it in cash. If I can pay for it in cash, then I don't have to worry about the interest or anything, and it's going to work out perfectly. I'm using my other, like I mentioned, the Home Depot Lowe's credit card in the beginning. I have that money tied up in somewhere else right now, so I don't want to put any more onto that one right now, because I want to take care of this one, just pay it off in cash. That's why I'm building up the cash in there, and then just pay it all off at once. Fix up the kitchen, and then, that's only going to increase the property value. That's only going to increase how much you can charge for the rent. And, that's more cash flow, more cash flow coming into my pocket. You've got to have a plan in anything you do, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate. You've got to have a plan. If you don't have a good plan, an idea what you're going to do, then you're just really gambling, okay? You got to have an idea when you want to sell stuff and when you want to buy stuff, how you want to fix up properties. You want to have a good idea on what you're doing. So let me go show you really quickly on how much is owed on that. Like I said, 0. Just want to show you really quick, get an idea. Might be hard to see. Okay, right there, it says mortgage. It's a calculator. Right there, you see that? It says paid in full. Okay, paid in full. Okay, there's the interest rate. I had a 4.875, but because it was a 15-year loan, a lot of banks are not going to refinance something like that, because they won't. I mean, they can do it. Based on one of my other buddies on YouTube, he said they can do it, but a lot of them don't like to do it. All right, I mean, I had a 15-year loan. I was already paying it down pretty well, and I didn't want to get a 7-year loan, whatever. And so it was working out great. And like I said, it's paid off now. But hey, if you have any questions or comment, leave me a comment below. Leaving a couple links below to some books you want to check out if you want to start your own journey to real estate investing. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. I'd be glad to help you out. But hey, I just want to drop this really quick video for you, share you a little advice, little tips, some little bit of wisdom. And overall, have a great day. Enjoy your week. I'll see you again.